Our next guest is a history-making Jeopardy champion. Amy Schneider is the first openly trans woman to conquer a 40-game winning streak on Jeopardy, walking away with more than $1 million. And now she gives us a peek inside her brilliant mind in her new book, Amy's Collections of Essays in the Form of a Question, The Joys and Rewards of a Curious Life. Details childhood, identity, and details how a little curiosity can take you on a lifelong journey of happiness. Amy, kind enough to join us now. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me again.
So you start right off in the introduction, you're okay with being wrong, and you're okay to reconsider your beliefs. Many people are going to say, as a Jeopardy champion, why would you start out with that idea of maybe being wrong sometimes?
Well, I mean, I think that I wouldn't be a Jeopardy champion if I wasn't okay with being wrong. You know, if you're locked into whatever you originally believed, sometimes it turns out not to be true, and you can't be right without accepting that you're wrong sometimes. And it's also something that I just think is important in general. I think that you know, so many people are locked into things that they believe politically or in any other area, and are unwilling to reconsider. And I think that, you know, it's something that we should always be kind of like challenging ourselves and making sure that what we say we believe, we really believe, and it's not just like inertia.
And you talk about transitioning later in life than others. What was that moment that you said, you know what, I've got to do this. I can't live in this body and mindset anymore?
Yeah, I was just kind of at home, and I suddenly had the realization that if I was to suddenly die that day, get hit by a bus or whatever, that I would be buried in a suit and a tie, and that was just really upsetting to me. And so I was like, well, the only way I can avoid that is by, you know, telling everyone, like, what I've known about myself for a while, but haven't been willing to be public about it. But, like, I'm gonna have to be public so that people don't have this false understanding of me. I mean, that was what it really was, thinking that people would, you know, that people who I loved didn't know me that well enough, didn't know this incredibly important thing about me because I'd been hiding it, and I didn't want to be hiding anymore.
You've said that at times you felt like you weren't enough of an advocate, but there are a lot of people who've come forward and said that you've been an inspiration to them. And how does that make you feel? It
feels wonderful, and I think that one of the biggest surprises that's come out of this whole experience is how much of an impact I could have or people can have just by being visible and being, you know, who they are and not unapologetic about it without really, you know, again, I was just on TV playing a game show.
What do you say to people? I mean, this is something that's being bandied about with politicians as we're entering into this election phase for the presidency. And a lot of people have a lot of opinions and they've never met a trans person. And there are a lot of people, as you know, who are at home who are saying, you know, I don't understand it, I don't get it. What would you think is something that you could share that might make people, help people understand?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing I would say is that, you know, I totally understand people who are skeptical about trans people or have those sorts of questions or whatever, because I used to have all those same questions and doubts and everything, you know. That's what we were all raised with, these negative stereotypes of trans people. What I would say is you can really just make things easier on yourself by recognizing that if you don't know any trans people, then you don't have to worry about it. Like, all the trans people are asking to do is to just kind of live their lives, make decisions with their own doctors. They're not really asking anybody else to, like, change anything about their own lives.
Amy Schneider, we thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Great conversation. Want our viewers to know, in the form of a question, The Joys and Rewards of a Curious Life is now available wherever books are sold.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.